democratic, proceduralism doesn't bring us together. We're just at each other's throats. We have alternate views of reality, totally different views of reality. And I don't have a good way forward. I mean, if you were asking me that question, I'm not going to answer it because I'm actually thinking it out. I still think liberal democracy is way better than Catholic integralism or Protestant Christian nationalism. But I also feel like you've got to call out the progressives, to say.
Now, right there, you can see the split that's happening in the evangelical world and the split. This is the crisis. So let's keep going with this one.
When I was in Hawaii, one of the things I discovered was the original Bruce Lee Entered the Dragon. And then when he died, and they made this movie about his life before he got taken out. And the part that was in the movie is like he would go into these phases where he would face off in the darkness against the internal, like his internal thing or his destiny or whatever he was fighting. It was some samurai guy, but he would like go in this altered state and fight them all the time. I was always jealous that he could manifest his and do actual combat with it, as opposed to the way we have to wrestle with it most of the time.
Well, it's you're usually going to see a Caesar mechanism, right? Your Bonapartism is almost always a function of popular will that brings about somebody who then severs that tie. And again,
now Bonaparte is an interesting example because if there's a father of modern regimes, it's Napoleon.
Not advocating for one another, but if you're looking for historical examples, this is how it happens over and over again. Whenever you have a situation where people have kind of invoked the right of the people then end up selecting someone who's able to make things work, and that's generally how you see that happen.
And that transition, do you foresee some sort of transition like that happening on the world stage at this point in time, or at least in America? Is that possible anymore with the interconnectedness of our technology, of all of our economics and our media companies and our school systems, and the accreditations, and all this stuff is stacked on top of itself? How can it be felled, or does it need to collapse?
That's a good question. I mean, it could need to be collapsed. It's hard to predict the future in that way, but it also could happen the same way it happened in Rome. Like, no one came around and said, we're an empire now, right? Rome was,
and the rest of history is treating that subject too.
A republic, and then Rome was a republic under Augustus, and then Rome was had a senate and was a republic while it had emperors, right? Like, we recognize it now as an empire, but it's reasonable to say.
And now, empire isn't the best choice of words here, because one might very well argue that America is an empire. Our empire runs in different ways, and we colonize in different ways than a lot of the empires that wanted to take geopolitical control over other things. And in fact, that type of control has long been. The Roman Empire did that quite a bit more. They'd have client kings and client nations all around, and their will was enforced, et cetera, et cetera. The question is much more whether or not it's totalitarian, meaning that you sort of give up the idea of popular sovereignty. And the rationale for giving up popular sovereignty is that the justification, the ability of popular sovereignty to, in fact,
like, what was he talking about? I just watched some stuff on Empire. Chad, if you spent less time watching stuff and more building your own, the cake is a lie, Guile. The cake is definitely a lie. Yo-Yo reminds me of Smothers Brothers. You should see the clip of the hippie chick talking to the Smothers Brothers. I may have saw that on Bjorn.
Act, deliver outcomes, and to know the truth. The sense making of the populace is undermined, and therefore, and you hear this.
It's the homunculus, man. It is, dude. But what do you mean when you say that? What do you... All right, everybody speculate with me. What the hell is the comment, it's the homunculus, man, supposed to mean? Because, you know, it summoned a... For me, it's like one of the big discoveries. It felt like an insight was how, like, the homunculus man also has a chakra system. But what do you think Chad meant with that, guys? I'll need to... No, Joseph, you won't. You won't. You won't. You say, hey, Grim, summon Miriam. We haven't got our secret message in a while. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, you're right. I don't remember well. Thank you for the accountability stalking. Accountability stalking. Accountabilities. All of these are great topics. Oh, nah, we can do this one. We can get rid of this one. Come here. Accountability stalking. Bloop. No. Oh, look. Hey.
Mnemonic.
What?
Mnemonic.
Mnemonic Nico. I pissed off Nico when he left us, guys. Yes, the salty snitch. Maps of Meaning had the motor homunculus early on in the book. Yeah. But the motor homunculus also has a spiritual homunculus. And that spiritual homunculus has chakra systems. It's all like, you're a reptilian because you're operating from the reptilian portion of your brain, which is way down below the green heart chakra, which means I should probably roll the savings throws. We'll get to the secret message.
Mnemonic.
The word of the day, October 11th, 2022. Soon. Here's some more pastipole.
Will of the American people, the will of the American people, and the will of the American people. And of course, the will of the American people is always exactly what that particular politician says.
That wasn't the part I was trying to do that to. Sorry. Poor aiming. Probably 2033, though, right? It's probably this timestamp, don't you think, guys? Don't you think it's most likely the starts right here?
And to know the truth, the sense-making of the populace is undermined, and therefore...
See, that's the line, but then it's like this. So 5 seconds back, 10 seconds back. Oh, it only goes 2 seconds when you do it like that. Anyway, it's right here.
Act, deliver outcomes, and to know the truth, the sense-making of the populace is undermined. Is undermined, and is undermined.
The control. Here's your savings throws. This is the green room, so it's like you're backstage, but you're not. But because it's still a stream. Special thanks to the Shadow Cabal of production executives that made all of this possible. This wasn't possible, and then they made it possible. So thanks to them. You know what I mean? Oh look, it's the Pap Monster. It's the Candy Cane Speculum. The past authoring program. He reminds us that we used to have monster fights. What a guy. Wow. This headset is like wrapped around the chair arm and strangling me. What a metaphor. What a metaphor. Hey, you guys can get one of these. It's in the description. I don't know if you're advanced enough of an internet user to find the description section of the YouTube and press read more. But if you are, there's a link for this there. Hi, I'm Grim. Here's some, mind control, savings throws. See, little anchors to help you remember shit. I hope you know this. Everybody in the green room knows how to do your savings throws. Survival or social, wisdom or heart. And after the savings throws, the show really starts. Choose! Survivalists, 11. Socialists. No, wait, those are wisdom. Oh, no, socialists. Socialists, you don't get your bonuses today. That's a nat one. Wisdom folks, on the other hand, disciples. And, oh, shit, Indigo folks, this one's for you. Nat one for you, too.
And therefore, and you hear this all the time with American politicians, the will of the American people, the will of the American people, and the will of the American people. And of course, the will of the American people is always exactly what that particular politician says it is. So the will of the American people is sort of like the search for the historical Jesus. You look down that long well, seeing his own reflection looking back up.
No one's coming.
A traveler of the wood has appeared. Are you of the green people? Does anybody here know what woodsmen of the world are? I've seen their buildings, but I don't.
Come around and name someone king and put a crown on their head, right? But America has had imperial presidents before. Abraham Lincoln and FDR were functionally kings, and it's not wild to imagine that just like other republics of
functionally kings, FDR tried to pack the court. Lincoln, but part of what happened in Lincoln's, I mean, the American system underwent a radical transformation during the Civil War. And the American, I mean, the government, the nation was much more federalized by virtue of Lincoln. And one
attention is energy, sex, and y'all have left me satisfied. Howdy. Howdy. So, like, most people would, what do you say? How do you say it? God Mask is the best thing I've ever written in the last 10 years, and it's on my Substack. This is the Dream Weaver, Dream Catcher, Grim. It's the Dream Catcher of Optimal Grip. Okay, where were we? The Aliens Project is a thing where you explain what it's like to be human to something that's not in the video, and then you're someone who's participated in something larger than themselves. Oh, you know what you were doing? No, what we were doing? We were doing the secret message from Miriam because you said homunculus.
Mnemonic.
Thank you. And you wanted to confess about Nico because like your abuses of power ran him off. All right, and so to get the secret message, you have to scroll back through several words of the day, except those are the old ones. We have to go to today's word of the day. Where the hell is it, Miriam?
Avuncular.
No, it's not avuncular. It's today. Make it today. Why is
Avuncular.
there not a button for that? Homunculus, on the other hand, is one of the reasons we were here. Homunculus. Spell it right for me, dear. Homunculus, yes. Like cute little name, man, a little man. It means a little man.
Homunculus.
Is it a prerogative?
Prerogative.
Oh, it's not
Homunculus.
the homunculus prerogative. Now, here's where we find the secret message is relevant. You go back 7 days from, oh, geez, what is it? It's prerogative to cleave impromptu anachronisms, lyrically divesting a coquetry. Okay, that's the special message for the day. We'll go through it one more time. It's your prerogative to cleave impromptu anachronisms, lyrically divesting coquetry. Okay, have everybody got that? Okay, what was Paul talking about? Is that why we wanted to stream? I don't know. Anybody saying anything? It slightly bothers him that mnemonic has a silent. Don't forget that we have the meditation practice of. You didn't pour me a water, you son of a. Hey, did you guys know Nolan wrote this for me and I play it for that reason entirely? Also, you can submit a 1-minute looping thing I can use instead of whatever else, like feeding the ducks. Way up here. Way up here. Yeah? Okay. This is the Metanoia Marina. That tower you see there is the Lobster Monkey Lighthouse. And then down in the bottom is the cafe part. Oh yeah, welcome. I have a new one I should have downloaded already. Now, all right, all of these controls should be where these controls are. Can you guys clip this and send it to those Streamlabs kids over in Langley? Did you see how I can do this at the touch of this button? I should also be able to stop and start the loop and swiggle that audio on the background music. Same place. It's a sin I can't. It's a damn sin. I'm supposed to be downloading the new one. Okay, add video clip, assets, and then there it is. Open it. Ladies and gentlemen, the new one. And here's some more Paul for a second.
Could argue it was much more greatly federalized by, and again, you have two instances of war. You have the Civil War and the Second World War. And these were two of the most demanding wars that the American Republic ever fought. But yeah, the imperial presidency, that's been a debate that's gone on quite a bit. And many would argue that part of what has.
If we had a reasonable, okay. Now, there's the thing that happened, I think, that is really the prompting drive of this particular breaking of the fast was like that I found a roach, and that this part about American history, right? And narratives of the place you're in. Because from what I understand at this point, rather than teaching them anything relevant about what happened in the past, they're framing it like this is how the history of oppression rather than the history of a virtue the virtues of Americans. And but the point is, I have a view of American history having come through all sorts, I've swam in the deep YouTube waters where you guys are making your little empires. So I have this view of these events in American history that you may or may not know of that are probably terribly important. Jekyll Island and Woodrow Wilson and how the political people opposed to that were on the Titanic, which is probably the Olympia in an insurance fraud. There's layers, okay? So, like, if you want to reference a cultural event, you can throw it out there, and then everybody around can do their Eye of Sauron and, like, add the layers you haven't seen yet for you if we come together. And this part about the mind control, the undermined, that's welcome to the undermined. Okay, we're building beholders, little Eye of Sauron beholders from the undermined to surface all of the darkness so you guys can clean it up. No, wait, what? What? I don't know. Morphic fields or something. So are you aware of any where are we at on the having Dan write the homeschool curriculum for our children project? Does anybody even know that's a project? Does it have a GoFundMe or anything set up yet? After the recent stream appearance by Nechama, I've decided to quit worshiping at the guy who dressed up in the ball costumes place. So you can't find me on Twitter anymore, which is terribly inconvenient for Marmalade, because that's where she's been sending people to for the Anachino 23 event. And I don't know that either she or I know where to send those people now. But if you want to come camping with me and Chad and maybe Mo, on May 17th through the 22nd, that's the Anachino 23 event. Right now we have a plot of land for you, but there's a Give Send Go, which is apparently the Christian GoFundMe, so you can make us more comfortable and then come. You know, I don't know. Hey, Liska, good to see you. Did you like how I documented your appearance on the previous live stream? I'm trying to demonstrate the proper documentation protocols. Okay, wait a minute. I need to do something here. Paul, talk some more.
It's caused the imperial presidency is the abdication of power by the Congress. But especially during FDR's administration, Congress bit back a few times. But, what we're seeing now is that, California, for example, has super majorities in both houses and so gets his way. And I don't know this to be true, but I heard it that DeSantis has super majorities in both houses, so gets his way. So, yeah, but in that sense, the United States has a cumulative.
No, how is it? Okay, wait a minute. Whoa. Hold on here, Paul. Now, first of all, what I'm about to say is a serious threat to our democracy. But we're a fucking republic, which means it's your job not to bitch at Trump on Twitter, but to hold the guys accountable where you can find out where they live still, because they're your representatives. They're from your district. It's to find out what they've been doing. And I'm pretty sure John Oliver told you all that all of your congressmen are basically telemarketers to donors for most of their day. But no, you're ranting on the internet about your opinion, swaying the minds of the people that might do something. Article 5. It's time. They put a bloodless revolution clause in the Constitution. Don't you think it's time we pull the trigger on it? There you go, Paul.
Accumulation of states as a bit of a different function.
We would have a consolidation of power, if not formally under the title, practically under the actual collection of powers, and then you would see, an individual make those changes. But again, it might require a collapse. I'm not saying that that's how it's going to function, but I'm just saying that's a possibility. It's happened before.
Well, if that's the case, then what the left, or at least the intersectional left, has a leg up in the process of being able to bind, I think inefficiently and not necessarily constructively, but they can bind this pluralistic society, whereas the right, I don't see if the right has a unifying principle. I don't see if it can even market a unifying principle, because it wants people to be different, or it accepts the fact of different.
And this is where this conversation takes a different turn, because many people
they claim there's no visible agenda for the left at some point, and I tell you, it's antinatalism. It's enmity for the womb. It's it's Gattaca. It's putting the control of reproduction. They want you to be able to order your baby on Amazon and print you one up if you decide you want a baby, and then they can print themselves up as many as they need for the. So that's where it's aiming. And they're making your children mutilate themselves in that aim now. And we're in the uncanny valley transition toward humanity's children. As me and Chad discussed previously, I know my PR needs work, but like the last 5 days of stuff, guys, it's just, I mean, the mark is inward facing drama that had to happen. But everything else that's been on this channel recently really lays it out for anybody who's new. And so I don't know. But this American history thing, where were we at? We were at 1903 with Woodrow Wilson and the Titanic, right? Because there's this whole thing about the banks that you guys, I don't know if you know this, but that Federal Reserve thing, that's the name brand. It's a private thing. It's a private company.
would assert, and this is where Benjamin Boyce really has an interesting position in this ecosystem, because much of the channel that he has, he was sort of out, he sort of began outing the evergreen.
You got to pay closer attention to what you're showing. This whole pausing and just talking with over. If you pause, it's to start talking. Also, switch to where your face is back on the cam, Paul.
Files, and then talking to transitioners and detransitioners and people.
Oh, by the way, that motherfucker on the left is one of my, like, I'd really like to have a show. I'd like to smoke a bowl with that guy, but I'd settle for a conversation on the internet.
All across the spectrum. And so many would just sort of say, well, Benjamin Boyce is kind of on the conservative side, but
there's Columbia Human Sacrifice Protocol. I was just familiar with the whole Saturn eating its own children thing. That's an interesting angle, Chad. Thank you.
He's part of sort of.
I know Columbia for the from the Pirates book that the Art of Memetics Pirate Edition, which is buried in the Chinese Discord under archives. There's lots of cool ass PDFs in there, guys. Just so you know.
Really don't. Post progressive is probably a better title than IDW, in that he's been, and Local Distance is actually going to really talk well about this. And
when can you come on and vote? No, we can't talk about that publicly. When can you come talk about it, Chad? I don't want to read it all. I know she makes those one films. That's one of the film houses we have to like isolate. Like really, the production houses of Hollywood. It's the wizard circle, right? What side do we want to be on? Who's the worst? Oh, there's so much and so little. And branding, yeah. There he is.
Hey there.
There he is. So you've been looking into goddesses, huh?
Well, it was an accident. I was watching that damn Shining the Overlook video on the Truth Stream Media's page, and
They featured my tweet once, guys. I can't not.
And they had this painting up there that's like supposed to be talking about manifest destiny or whatever, and then there's this character Columbia, and I was like, oh, that's really weird. And then I was like, who the hell is Columbia? And then so I went to search for who is the goddess Columbia, and then I was like, what I found, I put it in my recent video, and I was like, I don't what. And so when we talked about swimming in waters and not noticing that you're in water, that's what's coming to mind. It's like, and then
Right. This re-enchantment of the West. Like, you're going to start acknowledging that there's more to it than material reality.
Oh,
right.
clearly.
Then you're going to have to recognize that means there's been demons this whole time.
Clearly.
Morning, Toots.
So the way that this one,
hold on. I gotta make a spiel real quick.
Sure.
You know, I honestly earlier was thinking how we should send a camera crew down to do a documentary on Toots, because like the story I received privately is a book. and you guys, it's hard for me to, like, if you actually want to get shit done, that's the lady you talk to. I'm who I am, but that's going on in the Discord too. So anyway, that's there. Look, bug her in the Discord and find out why I just said all that. You know what I mean? I can't be there for a while.
Well, she has a channel, doesn't she?
Yes. I'm not digging it up right now, but
right. Well, yeah, it'd be nice to see more of her stuff.
But she's not really like a person to be a channel. Not everybody, like, you can climb up on top of the fourth wall and realize that you're not just an audience, and that doesn't mean you have to be on stage. There's behind the curtain stuff. Like,
so on the ground is what you're saying. She's more in person, on the ground, serving in her communities.
No, up here on the fourth wall, but back behind the curtain. Like, I mean, yes, she's like poked her head out with a couple of videos, but mainly she's doing other things. So
interesting.
And it's like Marmalade is the one behind the Substack Digest. It's basically a text-based beholder.
Yeah.
And like that doesn't they don't, not everybody surfaces in the video waters, but they're still here.
Yeah, no, it's invaluable, you know, that those people are doing that. For sure.
Like, we have to find a way of directing the people who find us because we're like amazing to the people doing the actual work, you know? We have to be the bridge to that somehow, Chad, and we need the right protocols for that, Gavin, or other people who make protocols up.
Well, I'm always trying to encourage anybody, like, if you have some ideas, just like, I had no experience with any of this stuff. I just said, I don't know, jump in and start swimming. And so find what it is that you might think you might be interested and do it. I mean, I think Bartholomew is doing some of that.
Bart's doing great work on the Discord, man. The conversation in the tavern is like, people could make a video just reading that.
Yeah. And so I think I was talking to somebody this morning about, like, one of the things that should probably be paid attention to around the corner in general is the genesis. And the genesis of the corner is really
the donut hole Voltron.
Yeah, it's about participation in some sense. Do something. If you feel the urge to participate, do it. Nobody's going to do it really great, and there's no bad way of doing it. I mean,
and you're not neglecting your family or other responsibilities in order to do so.
Right, exactly.
But there's lots of us locked up with a lot of free time that we'd otherwise just be eating whatever set spat into our face.
Right. So, excuse me. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, if you get a chance, whoever, just go check out that weird video, because it's just when the guy talked about the Mesopotamian god, I think Tiamat or whatever.
Tiamat was like in the D&D cartoon in the 80s. They fed me. If anybody wants to dig up those, I would love to watch them with you.
So he was saying, he was showing how this Columbia is all over the place and has been, and we've actually been.
Well, that's like Cage's Liberty Bell videos, right?
I guess. Yeah, I've not seen those, but yeah, Liberty, she's Columbia.
No. I'm talking about Nick Cage did a whole bunch of Masonic, the secret Mason movies of America.
Yeah.
And like once you can see Columbia that through those lenses, then you see your symbols everywhere.
Oh yeah. It's striking, dude. And to think, it's funny. It is ironic that we live in such a materialist culture, because
No, it's not ironic. We've been programmed into it.
Okay.
Like that was the other part of American history. When did our schooling system get implemented? When did it get go over to the federal government? And what was Karen talking about in that talk with me where she tried to warn the people what was coming with education? Those are some questions. Welcome, no one.
Hey,
I recognize you. You're not no one, but I'll pretend you are for a minute.
If you get a chance to go, he has a video on making oysters or an oyster party. And I'll just say right now, there's not one shot of anybody eating a single oyster. And it was.
But it is pretty fucking graphic.
It is.
I've been reminded by Josh Dixon of the donut hole Voltron, so I have to cover that real quick, guys. I'll bring you right back.
Okay.
The donut hole Voltron. Once upon a time, Papa Peterson penetrated mimetically. Mimetic penetration, I don't know how to describe it. It includes gravitas, right? So he mimetically penetrated real hard and then went into a coma. And so it was like a self-organizing criticality, right? But then he goes into the coma, and there's this donut hole. And like Vervaeke and Sangstock got in on it, and Vanderklay, they all wrote this chapter for a book because it was part of the synchrony that happens afterward. It's the they all were talking Voltron because it was like different pieces, like the symbolic shit, the pastoral shit. It was all Voltroning at the time, and that is the donut hole Voltron. I hope that helps.
Interesting. So there is that makes me think of in the there's one of the first appearances of Brett Weinstein on Joe Rogan. In the very beginning of that broadcast, he talks about, I was just at this meeting with people, and I can't really talk about it. And Joe starts trying to push him on it. He's like, I can't talk about it. I can't. And nobody ever talks about that. It's weird.
It's weird. It's like we signed an NDA voluntarily.
Mm-hmm.
If only. I love how much I ran the Keck hat last stream, man. I want it. Oh, all of them in the house. Jess, the link's at the top if you want to come in. This guy, his official trading card name is Kansas City Job Jeff.
Oh, he is a prominent Job. I don't know, dude.
Hey,
how's it going?
I don't have a lot of time. I just needed to pop in after I saw Grimm's last video about the apology. And there's a lot of things happening in this space. And I think there's a story, my story, that needs to be told. People need to know what happened to me on Bomb. It's a quick story. And then unfortunately I have to go. I'm going on a hike.
All right. Well, please make a buy me a coffee contribution. Here's your screen time.
So someone on Bomb told me to kill myself, and they told me to kill myself over and over and over again. And I originally thought that it was a joke. I thought maybe it was some kind of male testing ritual. But as things in my life became more and more tempestuous, I found it less and less funny. So I eventually asked them to stop, and they told me no, I should just kill myself. So I went to the leader of the server, Joey, and Joey told me that because people didn't like me on the server, because I had different opinions than other people on the server or in the space, that maybe I deserved to be told to kill myself. And Joey then banned me. So those are the people that you're letting lead you into whatever oblivion you face. So all I pray today is that you all never get what you deserve.
Hey, that doesn't
Because
sound friendly.
it was really a lot to go through, you know. Like I hope it works out, but like if it happened to me, it'll happen to other people in one way or another.
Well,
And
I'm cool. I'm cool with you saying most of that, but when you start pointing and saying horrible things, like when the opinion and not testimony starts, that makes for bad show.
but when you let people lead that are
Then you're choosing to follow. Everybody chooses to follow.
right, and
That's the only
there are
way
natural
leaders arise.
consequences
That's the
to
only
that
way leaders
behavior.
arise.
And I hope what I'm saying is I hope those consequences don't happen.
Well, I would say that nobody's being led by those people that I know of. Like, so Joey's not even anywhere in the corner as far as I know anymore. And then the other person that you're referring to, I don't think many people take him seriously. So he's not.
I can see why it needs to be aired publicly, and I'll do it once, but it's not really the kind of experience I'm crafting. I just want to say that everybody knows to make your savings throws. And as far as that you're a Christian person, you're supposed to be putting on the full armor of God every day. To the extent that you find yourself following anybody or taking anybody's opinions too seriously, just remember that. And yes, this internet is a dangerous place. And there are wolves among the sheep, and there might even be lions. But I'm sorry that you weren't connected to the proper authorities or responsible parties, like that you went to one and it was the wrong one. And yes, the people here are dangerous. I'm on Canary Protocol. So
My experience has been
thanks for giving people the warning that might need to hear it, but you said you didn't have much time. So
yeah, I appreciate it. This is all just coming off of the discussion I saw in your last video, right? About the apology. You owe no one an apology, right? There are genuinely bad people that for some reason are being allowed to fill the very malleable minds of individuals with nonsense. And there's a lot of potential here for good, but you know, a hammer can be used to drive a nail, and it can also be used to crush someone's skull. So like, I think everyone needs to like start calling a spade, and like I don't understand why these people just never seem to
there's not enough prayer going around, but there's a lot of talking. That's why. I'll catch you later, dude.
All right.
Yeah. I think some of that too is people like to watch trains wreck. So
Oh,
they do. They
you
like.
had to tie it in. You had to fucking tie it in, Chad. Watch me wield my power. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and now for some branding. Oh, can the mood be lifted? Can the mood be lifted? This is the official meditation of the Grim Grizz flavor, virtually not alone experience. Oh, yeah, you squat in your chair like a monkey. Did you know that there's way more than the 3 they tell you about? Where my thoughts are escaping. Where the music's playing. Where my love lies waiting. Oh, and that guy on the right, look into him real deep.
This has become what a lot in this space, and I think myself included in many ways, have sort of come where, okay, so there's a lot of skepticism about the woke agenda. It's just too incoherent. It
False! It's enmity for the womb and the transition to state-controlled reproduction. Remember it.
This agency. We want